what's more likely time with Week 13 of the 2020 season upon us. Let's begin with one of the more significant games of the weekend if the Browns actually show up. You know, they've got a history of not showing up when it's time to play a good team. The Browns at the Titans, both teams 8-3. Cleveland has, what's more likely? Cleveland has 175 yards or more rushing, or Derrick Henry has on his own 125 yards or more rushing. What's more likely?
Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, those two running backs in Cleveland, we know how special they are, and they're going to run the ball. I mean, just like Tennessee, their game and offense goes through the run game. I'm going to go with Derrick Henry has 125-plus rush yards, though. That'll be my go-to. I think the big reason for me more than anything is Tennessee Titans have big people, and their run defense has been better as of late. Their numbers of where they're ranked in the NFL and how many rushing yards they let up per game and all that are a little skewed because early in the year they had issues. The Jaguars, the Vikings just piled up huge numbers against them. But as of late, it's been much better. So I think between that and then Cleveland not being a real great run-stopping defense themselves, I'm going to go with Derrick Henry on this one.
Yeah, I think so too. And for me, it's far simpler than that. He has slid into a groove, and we've seen this in the past. He gets into that late season zone, and he becomes unstoppable. And even with, because as we were trying to figure out what happened, what was different, the left tackle gone for the season with a torn ACL suffered earlier in the year. That seemed to be the point where the running game started to dip. Well, it's gone the other way. They've adjusted.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Right.
And Derrick Henry has had 55 carries combined over the last 2 weeks. I think he's going to get his chances. He's going to get his yards. And we're going to be doing our Mega Picks podcast later today. I'd be stunned if either of us picked the Browns to win because the Browns have to beat a good team before we're going to believe that they can beat a good team.
That's right. That's right. And we saw, I think what scares me more than anything too, Mike, is a few weeks ago we saw them play a team like this in the Las Vegas Raiders, right? And it was a bad weather day and all that. And the Raiders ran the ball on them. You know, Cleveland's stats and numbers of stopping the run, you know, they're a little fortunate. They've played a lot of teams who can't really run the ball this year. So that's added to them looking a little bit better. But that'll be interesting to see. But, yeah, my money's on Derrick Henry and Vrabel and that company there.
Eagles and the Packers get together. Remember last year, the Philadelphia Eagles went into Green Bay on a Thursday night, bless you, and won the game. What's more likely this time around? Jalen Hurts, the backup quarterback who got a couple of snaps the other night. What's more likely? He has 3 passes in the first half of the game, or Aaron Rodgers has 3 touchdown passes in the first half of the game.
I would go out of those two. I mean, I think it's very realistic that neither one of those happen, okay? But I'm going
That's not the choice.
I know. I'm going to go with
other.
Aaron. If you're going to make me pick one of them, then I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers, 3 TDs in the first half. I am. Yeah. Hey, the Eagles will play a lot of man-to-man. They're going to give them some opportunities, you know, whether they can get open and make the throw and catch and all that. That's one thing. But there's going to be some, you know, appetizing looks to where Rodgers is going to look and go, whoa, they're going to play us like that. They're going to play us like that. And, I mean, Jalen Hurts, we've seen 3 passes the whole year. I can't go with that yet.
Yeah, and I think there is a tension there regarding taking Carson Wentz out, putting Jalen Hurts in, and maybe on a short week, maybe with less time to really think about it. I don't know, maybe they go back to a place where they were successful last year. Maybe that's a moment where something happens for Carson Wentz, where he can exercise some demons because he remembers going to Lambeau Field and winning on a Thursday night. It was a close, exciting game, and it just still amazes me. I've been racking my brain trying to think of somebody who's had this career arc where second overall pick, plays well, MVP candidate, gets the big contract, and then there it goes by all appearances. But it's gone, and he's trying hard to get it back. All right, Rams at Cardinals, sneaky great game. First time this season, 2 division rivals meeting. Week 13, they'll meet twice between now and the end of the regular season. Critical games, Rams 7-4, Cardinals 6-5. What's more likely? Rams cornerback Jalen Ramsey gets an interception, or Cardinals receiver DeAndre Hopkins catches a touchdown.
Yeah, this is a great matchup, right? I mean, these two, gosh, they're in the same division. Jalen Ramsey, he went out to the Rams and signed a big contract, and now he's got to deal with DK Metcalf and DeAndre Hopkins for the rest of his career. I mean, interceptions are rare like Jalen Ramsey could win the better of this matchup and win more plays and have a really awesome day. And DeAndre Hopkins could still catch a TD in zone or some pick play, or they're at the 3-yard line on some wide receiver screen. So I'm going to go with DeAndre Hopkins catches a TD just because interceptions are very rare. And, hey, a lot of the times with guys like Jalen Ramsey, he's so good, quarterbacks don't want to mess with him. Or when they do look over there and think, oh, maybe I'll try my guy, he's not open to throw the ball there anyways. Now, Ramsey's health a little bit. I know he had a little hip issue before last week. That'll be something to watch for, but I'm going with Hopkins in that catching the TD.
I didn't notice his name on the injury report last night. I may have to check that again. But I was struck by the revelation from Coach Sean McVay that he was limited to 50 reps of the 72 on defense because he had a hip thing that popped up before the game. There was no hip injury last week. I don't think there's one on the report this week, but that's something to watch. And look, I agree with you. Deion Sanders never had many interceptions because he didn't throw his way.
Right.
If they don't throw your way, you're covering your guy. They're not going to do something stupid and give you an interception. You're keeping your guy, though, from catching passes and catching touchdowns. But I agree with you. Between these two choices, it's more likely that Hopkins
they got a history,
what
too.
Hopkins tends to do.
That's what's cool. They've been playing each other. I've talked to Jalen Ramsey, and asked him about receivers that give him issues. DeAndre Hopkins was the first guy he brought up when we had a conversation. Because DeAndre Hopkins, physical, tough, crafty route runner, all those type of things. But yeah, that's a cool one. They have a respectful, very intense physical rivalry together that's fun to watch. And anybody watching football Sunday, that's one I would tell anybody to watch and tune into and keep your eye on.
Tune in next week for PFT Live because at the top of the hour on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, there will be a Simmsism segment devoted to the new word that's been added to the lexicon.
What did I say?
Time for another page. We're going to need a bigger boat. It's great, too, when you don't even realize it. That's what makes it even better. Respectful.
Oh, respectful.
Respectful.
Yes.
Simmsism. Number 372.
Yeah.
All right. Next game. But I agree. More likely that DeAndre Hopkins scores a touchdown pass. Saints 9-2 at Falcons 4-7. They're getting together for the second time in 3 weeks. What's more likely? The Saints rush for 175 or more yards, or quarterback Taysom Hill throws his first career touchdown pass. And so far in the two starts with Taysom Hill, 166 and 229 rushing yards for the Saints offense.
It wasn't pretty last week. Obviously the quarterback situation in Denver, New Orleans went into the game plan and into the game with a very, let's be conservative type game plan. But Taysom Hill, just from watching that film back, it wasn't the prettiest I've seen him play. The first week I was encouraged by what we saw. The second week I kind of went, I think there were some things there that'll concern Sean Payton. Didn't see the field all that well, missed some open receivers. His pocket presence wasn't all that great. So that'll be something to watch for here, Mike. I don't know. Where do you lie on this? I'm gonna go with Taysom Hill throws his first career TD pass. I'm gonna go there. This was the week. I just think Raheem Morris and Atlanta, the way they're playing right now, I think they're gonna smother that run game. I just have a hard time thinking that that's how New Orleans is gonna win this football game. They're gonna make it to where Taysom Hill has to throw to beat them. And I'll say this is the week he finally gets his first career TD pass.
And, that's a good point, too. It could be that Raheem Morris decides we're not going to be suffocated in the run game. We're going to sell out to stop it.
I think
and let's see if this tight end turned quarterback can beat us over the top. When you think about red zone, though, what do we see so often now with Taysom Hill? We don't see a throw to the back of the end zone. We see the bull in a china shop run to the goal line,
right?
And it works. So you're not plays that otherwise would have become potential touchdown passes for Taysom Hill are touchdown runs for Taysom Hill. He's had 2 in each of the last 2 games, and I think that I don't know that the Falcons are capable of it. Now they're going to be feeling good about themselves after blowing out the Raiders. I don't know what that translates into this weekend. There is a great rivalry there. And they aren't going to want to be embarrassed. I'll go with you. First touchdown pass of the career, more likely than 175 or more rush yards. All right, Colts and Texans together for the first time this year. They play twice in 3 weeks, I believe. 7-4 Colts, 4-7 Texans. Deshaun Watson throws an interception, or he has his 7th straight game without one. He's had 15 touchdown passes and 0 picks over the last 6 weeks, Chris. What's more likely, a pick or he continues his streak of no-pick games?
I'm going to go with no-pick games. I mean, he's on fire right now, so I'm going to ride the wave with him. You know, it's the perfect example, again, to just show everybody out there, too. Like, the game is bigger than just one guy. Deshaun Watson, I don't know how anybody can watch the sport and not think he's one of the 5 or 6 best quarterbacks in the game. I mean, he's phenomenal talent. I mean, I just don't know what else to say about him. I mean, he really is amazing. And, yeah, this great year he's having is getting lost in the shuffle because they're an average football team. And I give you a lot of credit for writing that little article last week, kind of giving him credit that he deserves, because it's amazing what he does, even when there's crap around him and everything there. I think he's in the groove. He realizes he's got to play almost perfect football for them to even be in close games or win a game. I'm going to say he stays hot here against the Colts and doesn't throw an interception.
But it is the Colts. I mean, it is the Colts. So all good things come to an end. I say he's going to have an interception this weekend against the Colts defense. Because, look, the Colts, they're feeling a higher sense of urgency after getting bullied by the Titans. They fall to 7-5. They got to start worrying about tumbling out of the playoff picture altogether. There's going to be 1 or 2 good teams that we had at some point this year looked at and said, oh, yeah, they'll definitely make the playoffs.
Right.
That don't make the playoffs when the dust settles on the AFC playoff.
They need to force Buckner back this week, which I think he is back, right? That'll be big. They missed him last week. One of those times, Mike, where you don't realize how good a guy is or how awesome he is for a defense until you watch them without it. And then you start to go, I don't think the Titans could have done that if Buckner was there. I don't think that play would have worked if Buckner was there. He is one of the best in the game, and they need him back.
The F up the play mentality, and Buckner was on COVID-19 last week. It's always unclear when a guy can come back. I think he was a positive test, too, so
I think you're right.
That complicates things as well. Broncos and Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Denver's 4-7. They will have their quarterbacks this week, as far as we know. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, which always puts them in a position to win, and they are still trying to chase down the Steelers for the 1 seed, so they have every incentive to have a big game. What's more likely? Tyreek Hill has more than 150 yards receiving, or he has fewer than 100 on the night? What's more likely?
I'm going to go with under 100 this week. Fangio, he's too smart on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think he's going to give them a whole lot of opportunities to be making big plays. He'll know when to, help out on Tyreek Hill in certain situations like that. And the Denver secondary, it's pretty damn good. When you talk about A.J. Bouye right now, he's playing good. Of course, Justin Simmons, one of the best safeties in football. William Jackson right there along with him. They're well coached in the back end in Denver, and they got talent back there too. Because of that, I don't think they'll let Hill go off. I'm going to go with the under.
Tyreek Hill had only 55 yards when they got together earlier this year. It was a blowout win by the Broncos, but defense had a lot to, or by the Chiefs, excuse me. Defense had a lot to do with that. I remember last year when the Broncos and the Chiefs got together in December. It was a snowy day, and that was kind of the first time we started to wake up to the idea that even though we're obsessed with the Ravens and the 49ers in 2019, there was an opportunity there for the Kansas City Chiefs to kind of sneak up on everyone and win the whole thing, which they ultimately did. Tyreek Hill's had 100 yards receiving for 3 straight games, but last week was his first game this season with more than 150. I'm with you. I think it's going to be under 100. Broncos defense is good. It's good. And even though it's a primetime game, it's not the kind of opponent that's going to have the Chiefs locked in. That's just a focus issue with the Chiefs. And they are a team that is vulnerable because the Broncos are going to be coming at them with everything they have. This is their Super Bowl. What else are the Broncos playing for? They're 4-7. They're not going to the playoffs. Yeah. So if they could hang a loss on the Chiefs in prime time, this is kind of like the reason last week we thought the Texans would beat the Lions. It was the Texans Super Bowl. This is it. This is the only time anybody's going to care about the Texans the rest of the year. Sunday night is the only time anyone's going to care about the Broncos the rest of the year. So I think that adds up to maybe a closer game and also fewer than 100 yards for Tyreek.
I think it's a good point, though. You're right. I mean, hey, Drew Lock, he's fighting to make sure he's the starting quarterback there next year. It's an important game for a lot of people in that organization. Yeah, I don't expect them to win. But at Fangio and Denver, that defense, they were pretty damn successful the first time around. I know they lost the game, but they do a good job of managing the Chiefs' offense. They really have. So we'll see where that goes. But, the Chiefs are dangerous, and, of course, I expect them to win the football game.
And there is a lot going on around that Broncos organization. We've had stories over the past few days. There's litigation among the Bolin family. There was a statement issued yesterday by Beth Bolin Wallace saying it's time to transition ownership to someone. This team has been held in a trust for the past 7 or 8 years as the trustees wait for one of the 7 children of Pat Bolin to show that he or she is ready to run the team. And the way this is all going, long story bearable, this may all be rocketing toward a selling of the team at some point. Because they just can't get along. And at some point, they're all going to have to sign off on one of the siblings running the team, whoever the trustees pick. But if the rest of them say, no, we're not doing it, you only have one alternative, which is to put the team on the market. So there's just a lot of dysfunction and turmoil. And this team, which had a proud tradition of not racking up consecutive losing seasons, I think they're closing in on 4 in a row this year. So this is their moment. This is their chance, and maybe they'll play a little bit better on Sunday night.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.